and let's roll out, roll out, roll out, roll out, let's roll out.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Food, Fitness, and Fun, and I'm here with.
Sensei Dre, Sensei of Fitness, and a whole bunch of other things you ain't never heard of. Let's do it.
That's right. And I am JD, aka He Who Pods, glasses on, so also rear view mirror. And we starting off like we always do, baby, with a sponsored by.
Yeah,
So
all
what you
right.
got for us, player?
All right, so this sponsored by has been my latest breakfast slash brunch joint because I kind of skip breakfast in the morning, do my workout, then I go eat. And this has been basically just um, beef, you know what I'm saying, and eggs. So I just take some beef, grill it, you know what I'm saying,
Mm.
mix it in a bowl with eggs. So I do 2 eggs and then a bunch of egg whites, and it's crazy amounts of protein. So it's just simple ground beef. First thing you do is just grill the ground beef, then you throw the eggs in, cook it all in one pan, and you got this steaming hot grill ground beef and egg bowl. Maybe I'll call it a keto bowl or protein bowl or whatever. But basically, there's really no carbs. It's just protein and the fat from the egg, which I don't run away from fat. I think that, dietary fat is important. I'd rather have dietary fat than carbs, especially in the morning, because I am, watching my carbohydrates and I want to get as much protein as possible. And this meal here will really satiate you. You know what I mean? So, I go a good 3 to 4 hours without feeling like I want anything. No snack, no nothing. Basically, I just drink water until I'm ready to have lunch. And a lot of times it's like I won't have lunch till maybe like 2 or 3 o'clock because I was just so full from this bowl. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, check it out. Um, like I said, ground beef, eggs is super simple but loaded with protein. I know a lot of people been asking me, oh, how I get enough protein? How I get enough protein? You just gotta make it happen. And as we know, it's always better to make your own things than to go out there and buy something. So this is a great recipe if you're looking to get a lot of protein in a quick amount of time. Takes me probably no more than 5 to 10 minutes to do this entire meal.
Okay. But do you add some like sauce or some seasoning or something?
Okay, so you know what? Normally I don't if it's just for me. But if my partner is like, yo, can I have then I'll put some seasoning in it, So,
So you just be eating bland ass meat and eggs?
well, to me, it's not bland because the fat from the ground beef gives it,
Hmm.
for me, enough seasoning. So I'm trying not to put too much seasoning in there. If it is like salt and pepper is enough for me. Like I don't really need to put more than that. But like I said, if I'm making it for somebody else, because people like a lot of seasonings, then I'll throw seasoning in it. Um, but most of the time, I like the flavor that comes off the fat that comes off the actual meat when you're cooking it, and that
Okay.
to me gives me like the flavor I need, or a little bit of salt and pepper, but not a lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Yeah.
And since I don't have a picture while we're recording it, is the egg a runny egg or you like scrambling the egg?
I scramble the egg. When you see it, it's like mostly egg white. So, like I said, it's like only 2 eggs, and then I'll pour in a bunch of egg whites. So it's the egg white is like crazy amounts of protein with no fat, but I do want a little bit of fat. That's the secret I feel to keeping you really satiated. Not just the ground beef, but that little bit of fat from the egg yolk also helps to keep you satiated for a long time. And that's the key if you're talking about losing weight is eating and then not snacking in between, and going a good solid 3 hours, maybe even 4 hours before your next meal. You know, so that's what we.
Gotcha. All
Sometimes, like I
right.
said, just by being busy, I'll realize, man, I went 5 to 6 hours and haven't eaten. And I'm not saying people should do that. What I'm saying is sometimes you just get so busy, you realize, oh, snap, I haven't eaten. And with me, I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to like snack. I'll just be like, okay, let me wait till, because if I'm at work, I'm gonna wait till I get home, then I'll have my next meal. And I
Mhm.
want all my meals to be as satiated as possible. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know how tasty it is, but it's definitely a lot of protein. I could definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Oh, but one last question.
Yeah.
So, when are you getting your veggies in?
So I usually get my veggies in with my next meal. So
Okay.
my next meal, it'll be loaded. It'll be a huge protein source and a bunch of veggies. Really not any carbs. I've been doing a lot of the next time we'll do another food, fitness, and fun, I'll show you, and I've shown you guys before, I do a lot of like cauliflower rice rather than actual rice. So I'll be mixing like veggies with cauliflower rice. And so it's just meat and veg the entire.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. All right. Well, let's talk about a trendy workout, or really a trendy company, if you want to be real.
Yeah.
Who seems to not be so trendy anymore. Um, so a report came out and you sent it over to me and I checked it out. And it was basically speaking about the rise and the fall of Peloton. And I watched it, and it spoke about largely how Peloton had a humongous boom uh, at a very early age, let's call it,
Yep.
in its business during lockdowns and the pandemic, and it skyrocketed to ridiculous numbers, so much so that they couldn't keep up with demand, and it was the flyest shit ever. And today they have plummeted compared to those numbers. Demand has dropped big time. They have lost tons and tons of money, and they are seemingly nowhere. There's a lot of things that contributed to this, including some horrible PR, but also some bad decisions just in the company. And so, yeah, let's talk about it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. First of all, um, we'll probably put up pieces of the piece, but it's like I think the first thing is that people are finicky. People are finicky when it comes to fitness, health, whatever you might call it. Everyone seems to get on a particular fad. People just tend to follow each other. And Peloton, was like that fad. Everybody had to have one. And, it's something about the consumer mentality because it's like they priced this stationary bike way expensive. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Super expensive.
stationary bikes are not new, bro. This is not a new technology. Okay, you put a tablet on it, but once again, these are not new technologies. Tablets aren't new. Stationary bikes
Right.
aren't new. Okay, you put
Right.
the two together, it shouldn't mean a 4,000%
I'm
increase in
about to say a
price.
$4,000 bike.
You know what I mean? Like, wow. Like, okay, so you price this thing, but the consumer mentality is like, oh, this is crazy expensive. I gotta have one, right? And that's the sort of craze where everybody felt like they had to get one. Yeah, the pandemic certainly did help because people were locked in their homes. But I went through the pandemic. You went through the pandemic. You found ways to get outside and jog. I didn't have a Peloton. I had what's called a bike.
Right. A regular ass bicycle.
You know what I'm saying? And I rode it outside. Like the pandemic didn't stop people from going outside. It wasn't like
Right.
you had wires and stuff and bars keeping you in your home. You still was able to go out. So
Right.
I don't know, sometimes I don't really understand people's logic, but it was the thing. Everybody wanted one, and because it was super expensive, it made people feel like I got this elite product. And when they got this elite product, you start to realize, oh, this is just a stationary bike with a tablet, and it's cool because you got some dude or lady on there telling you, come on, keep going, keep going. But like most fads, it gets boring if you're not really into it. And that, especially with that expensive price, people were just like, yo, I'd rather just go outside and be part of humanity rather than just staying indoors, So, you know, cats being the fear mongering is what I'm saying is like didn't stop working after a while, because people rather go out and actually be on a bike or do something than to just be on this Peloton. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so fitness fads, not necessary. They're not new. There's always some new fitness fad around the corner that
Of
everyone
course.
feels like, this is the thing. This will finally get me in shape. As soon as I buy X. Once I
Right.
buy
Hip
X,
hop abs.
right. Hip hop abs, Thai bow. They say in the piece from the 80s, the Thigh Master. It's always a thing, this one product. And they get people
Right.
believing that. And it's like, no, it's the human beings have always been the same way. Your diet is number one. And then you got
Right.
to do things you really like. Now, I know friends right now who bought their Peloton, love their Peloton, and would never give up their Peloton. They love it. And so I definitely understand them. And in the piece they're talking about, they got about 3 million subscribers who are paying like $40 a month. That's nothing to sneeze at. You know what I mean? That's
Nope.
a decent business. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
3 million cats giving you $40 a month. Not you're doing pretty well. However,
Mhm.
they sort of like over invested during the pandemic, and there is, I don't know how they're going to get out of this hole. What do you think?
Right. Well, I think number one, the thing that really sold people was the vibe of a class.
Yeah,
Because a lot of the people who like to go to like these cycling classes and be in a group setting, you
yeah,
now were able to do that in your home.
right,
And so you were getting the feeling of going to spin class or cycling class, whatever you want to call it, but you was home chilling. And afterwards, you didn't have to travel back home or worry about getting in the weird gym shower. You just was like, all right, that was crazy. Let me dry off and keep it moving. I got to make a smoothie for the kids now or whatever. Right. And so I think that is the big appeal with them, not necessarily the equipment, but the experience of a group setting at home. And I think that's really the seller. And I think the fact that they have so many memberships still today proves that that's really what sells the bikes and the treadmills and whatever else they have.
yeah,
Oh, a rower. That's the other thing they have now.
yeah,
A rower, it said in the video, which I knew about the treadmills. I didn't know about the rowers. That's interesting. Anyway, cats want to be instructed. Cats want the feel of the group setting at home. I think that is their money maker. I think as far as the business sense, yeah, they did over invest during COVID. Demand flew so high, they assumed this demand will continue. And that was kind of the mistake. I think that's where they shot themselves in the foot the biggest, along with some of the PR stuff. I don't know who they made mad at HBO, but let me tell you that when when that Sex in the City episode aired, everyone and their mother was like, "Oh my God, Mr. Biggs died on the Peloton. That's crazy. Are Pelotons killing people? Is that possible?" People were calling me like, "Son, did you hear about this? Mr. Biggs, he's dead." I'm like, "Ron Isley? What you mean? Nah, don't say that." They're like, "No, not that Mr. Biggs. I'm like, who's the other Mr. Biggs? There's another Mr. Biggs? I thought there's only one Mr. Biggs. No? They're like, no, from Sex in the City. I'm like, oh, okay. What happened? Like, I don't know. I don't watch that stuff.
Yeah. So
They're like,
explain
yeah,
it.
he's on a right. So
I didn't
there's a
see it.
scene, and
Uh-huh.
it went viral. He's just working out. He's on a Peloton doing his thing, and he
Yeah.
has a heart attack and dies in the show.
Oh.
And so it went viral. It was trending and it went nuts on the internet. And people were like, oh, Peloton is killing cats. So much so that Peloton had to do an ad with the dude who plays Mr. Biggs from Sex in the City and was like, no, it's actually what's kept me in great shape,
People
trying
are
to
dumb.
fix the market. But I don't know who they made mad at HBO, but that was the episode, and it was a big deal. He's a big character. And shortly after, I mean, just right after that ad came out, where they're saying like, no, it's all just fake, and it's just television. That same actor gets hit with like a sexual assault lawsuit or charge or something. Yeah, it's like crazy. Peloton has had really bad luck with PR. That's only like one of the things that has happened. And so they're having a rough time. Now, I do think PR and investment stuff aside, I think we do have to focus on what has actually happened with the Pelotons. Yeah, it's a trend. Like Tybo, like hip hop abs, like everything that's come and gone since we've been around. Like you said, the Thigh Master, whatever, right? There are all these different home workouts and home gyms that come and go, and they're the hot buzz. Just like the diets, there's all these diets that come out. Oh, you got to do the Dre diet. The
Yep.
Dre diet made me lose 35 pounds. Oh, I lost 44 pounds on the coffee diet. I
Right.
just drank coffee for 7 months and somehow I'm still alive and in the best shape of my life. And people are like, oh my God, the coffee diet is crazy. You got
Yep.
to get on the coffee diet. It's the same shit. And so, to me, no, it's not surprising that the Peloton fad has died down. Now, what I think is a mistake is, I think the mistake was not giving people accessories. Now, you see, you got the tablet and the bike, but instead of creating the same shit with a treadmill with a screen and a rower with a screen, why not go in the lab and think about what things can we offer people to add to their Peloton? I don't know the answer, and I'm not going to give them the answer for free even if I had it. But, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think perhaps adding features like that would help sales if you
Yeah.
focused on that instead of, hey, you know what? Let's slap a screen on another piece of equipment and sell it for $5,000. Son, you could go to Walmart and get a treadmill for like $100.
Stop. Exactly.
I
This is
mean,
not a new technology.
I don't understand.
This
Why
is
would you
not
pay so
cutting
much? Like,
cutting edge. You know what I mean? No. No.
nah, player. Now, as far as the subscriptions, clearly that model has worked for them. And I
Yep.
think that's a great thing. And I think you should try to see what upsells you can offer. And I know based on my job that they do have upsells because they have like different plans and packages, and you can buy just the instructor. So like if you really like Dre's class, Dre will have like a gold package, for example, and it'd be like, oh yeah, I bought the Dre gold package. Instead of $40, I pay $60 a month. But Dre's classes are the best, and then they have all these other things you can do. I think that's where you put your money, and that's how you try to innovate the game, because just the machines, like the video said, you're not going to buy 12 machines. Once you got the Peloton, what else you got to buy? Nothing. Now, you're
Right.
not buying anything else, but if there was an accessory or if there was some kind of ups, hey, now we got it where you can add an attachment and you could do lat pull downs while you doing the bike. Oh, that's crazy.
Right.
Lat pull downs on the bike. Oh, you freaked it.
Right.
It's only when I'm giving y'all for free. Now,
Right.
maybe that's the way to go. But no, I'm not surprised that the fad came and went. This is what happens with fads because the true and tried things are going to stick around.
Yeah.
And the true and tried things, they've been around since the beginning.
Exactly.
They've been around since the beginning. Now, we don't need much. Just a couple of dumbbells, maybe a bench, and maybe a machine to make our heart rate move a little faster than normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't need like the Jetsons technology to work out.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and as you say that, I think about, this might be a pod idea, just looking at all the stupid fads that have come and gone throughout history. I was watching some the other day, like back in I want to say maybe the 50s or even
Mm-hmm.
60s. They would, I mean, and it had absolutely no knowledge to, like, it obviously didn't work, but you can make people think things work. And
Of
so
course.
working out at first was something seen as something men do. And
Yep.
to tell women, hey, you should get in shape, they created these machines which would like be like a band you put around you, and you didn't have to do
Uh-huh.
it. The machine would do all the work. So
Uh,
if you wanted to, do some shoulders, you put yourself in a machine, and the machine will do this for you. You didn't have to do it. And the machine would like shake your belly, like that's going to remove fat or something. And you could just
I
like sit
remember the
there and chill.
remix of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Many years later, I want to say early 2000s or late 90s, they were selling like a strap
Yeah.
that you put on your stomach and it's electric
Yeah.
and it's going to, shake it up and do the things. And it's going to give you 6-pack abs just by sitting watching TV
Right.
with the strap,
Yeah.
on your belly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's why I'm like, it's been so many of these silly things, and it's really like keeping people uneducated. But I feel like people are getting a little bit smarter, and maybe they're not falling for these things. And the key, just get out there and get in shape. But there is a portion of this I do want to talk to you about. I'm curious about your opinion, and it's one of these. Uh, Peloton bad marketing ideas. I mean, I don't say bad, but their decision. And that was, they spoke about it a little bit in the piece where during the Super Bowl, they had an ad. And the ad was, a husband gifting his wife,
Yeah.
gifting his wife a Peloton. And
Yeah.
she decided, hey, I'm going to like record my journey on the Peloton. And it's just like every day, hey,
For a year,
and
right? Till
you
next Christmas.
you see her progress and everything. And so my opinion when I saw it, I'm like, that's pretty dope. You know what I mean? But for a lot of people, especially women, it read like, hey, get your fat ass in shape. Here's a Peloton. Happy
Right.
Merry Christmas or whatever. And some people read it like that. And I was just like, okay, I mean, I guess, the way you see it is the way you see it. But for me, I'm like, if someone gifts me an expensive piece of fitness equipment, like, yo, Dre, I know you're into fitness, and I saw this like dope home gym that, maybe is on my wish list or whatever. And it's like, yeah, this thing costs like $10,000, Let's say like you hit it rich and you was like, yo, I know Dre, he always talking about this like $10,000 home gym that he's always, you know what, Dre, here you go. Surprise, mofo. I mean, I'm not looking at that as, is Jonathan trying to tell me that I need to get in shape? Like, no, yeah, I'm looking at it like, wow, you gifted me this like really expensive thing. But for some people, it read like, yeah, Merry Christmas. Now go lose a few pounds. But I feel like that's just perspective. But yeah, you could definitely, let me know.
Well, I was about to say, I think it's perspective. And I also think context matters. One, you said Dre is very into fitness.
Right.
And we know that to be true. Was this woman very into fitness? That matters.
Yeah, and it's
but that matters because if you have zero interest in fitness, and I'm like, yo, Dre, I bought you a treadmill. you should lose a couple pounds. That's very different than someone who's actively saying, hey, I'm into fitness. I want to be better. I want to lose some weight. I want to be healthier. That context changes things drastically.
Yes, and it's a commercial, so we don't really know the context. But I know
Well,
that
and then that leaves it up to interpretation. And that's
exactly
why I agree
right.
it's
That's why I think it's.
perspective. But
But let me just say this: every
go
year,
ahead.
Lexus have what they call the December to Remember, and they put Lexuses on sale. And every year it's the same commercial with the husband saying, "Hey, honey, guess what?" And he's like giving her a Lexus, and no one is just like, "How you know she's in luxury cars? How you know she don't like, you know, Tesla or something?" No one's is angry about that, right? We don't know the context of it, but we know here's an expensive item that he's giving his wife. You
Yeah,
know,
but it's a false equivalent.
extrapolate,
No, because a car is also a tool to do many things.
right?
The Peloton is just to work out. And if you have no interest in working out, which most of the population does not, statistics show less than 50% of America is working out. And so that's not the majority of the country who's interested in working out. It's a small piece of the country who's interested in working out. But most of the country want to drive a fly ass car. And so if you say, hey, here's a fly ass car, it's oh, okay, lovely. Now, if you say, hey, here's a gym, it don't even gotta be a Peloton. I could say, hey, you know what, Dre? I found out about this dope ass gym by your crib. Here's a 1-year membership. Now, Dre is into fitness. That's a cool gift for Dre, part of the less than 50% of the country that want to work out. Now, for the rest of the country, it's pretty much an insult because I don't want to do this thing, and you bought me this thing to try to nudge me to do this thing.
Okay, but let's look at the context of the commercial. When she gets the Peloton, she's smiling, she's happy. She's not like, oh man, right? So it's the same sort of response when the woman gets the Lexus. She's smiling,
Okay.
she's happy.
Well, then it's not perspective. Then she's happy and people overreacted.
That's the way I look at it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But because of what you just said, because most people don't like working out, they turned to me, they turned it into this like, this is horrible. How dare you give your wife a Peloton for Christmas? You know, and
Yeah,
it's like,
because working out has a negative connotation in this
yeah,
country. We
right.
are we are ridiculously obese in this country. The latest numbers say close to 70% of the country is obese.
Yeah.
And so no, obese people will not be happy when you give them a Peloton.
Right. And you know, it's funny you said I have a friend of mine whose wife gave him a gym membership, you know, and you know, he looked at it like, okay, because like you said, he's not really known to hit up gyms or now I don't know what conversations they have in a home. Maybe he was saying, you know, I'm thinking about going to a gym. I don't know. But, you know, when his wife gave him the gym membership, he was kind of like, okay, you know, all right. I mean, it's not a bad gift, but you know,
Wasn't excited.
I'm not right. I'm not necessarily like,
Let's be honest, he wasn't
wow,
excited.
right? Yeah, yeah. So um
He was like, Gold's Gym. The fuck is this? I wanted Deadpool and Wolverine on Blu-ray.
right, you know what I'm into. You know what I'm saying?
Why would you
Like,
buy me this?
right. You know,
Didn't the Acolyte just drop on Blu-ray with mad deleted scenes?
this is
This is
not
what you buy me?
right. This is not a
Gold's Gym?
right.
I
This
want a divorce. Nah, I'm just playing.
no, but you know, it's like this is not a PS5. I would have, you know, what I mean?
Right.
I would have rather that or whatever, you know. But to be like, yeah, you know, get it together. I can understand that, like what you're saying, where it's like, yo, um, not very excited about this gift, but
Nah.
you know, because it does have some connotations to it. So, yeah,
Right.
I just really thought that was interesting. I got into a debate with other people about it. Like, yeah, you got to know, like, you got to know your partner. And how do we, gently tell someone, like you said, nudge them. You know what I mean? I'm trying to, hey, here you go. It's only $10 a month, but I pay for the whole year for you.
That's not a good nudge. Not a good nudge. Because that person feels like they were shoved, first of all.
Right.
And second of all, most of the country is not trying to work out.
I know.
So it's not good. It's not a very welcoming gift. You know what I'm saying? It's like if all year you was like, yo, Jay, man, I just really want to go to a Saints game. Like,
Yeah.
man, I wish I could just I just want to be on the 50-yard line at a Saints game.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, Dre, well, your birthday's here. So I got you tickets to New Orleans NBA basketball games. What's up? You ready? You excited?
Right. Pelicans.
You like, I did not say basketball.
Right.
I said,
right.
I'm like, yo, but Dre, front row seats.
Yeah, and it's
I'm saying, courtside seats, baby.
Right. Yeah, and it's
you
like,
gotta,
okay.
Don't listen. You tall. If you put your leg out, you're gonna trip the ref. Be careful. He's the flyer seats on the market.
No
you're
doubt.
Gonna be looking at me like, can we resell these for some money? Because this is not the Saints. Like,
right.
And I said the Saints. It's not even the same sport.
Yeah, no, and I dig that. It's like, okay, this thing has high value, but value is a relative term. If I don't value that thing, then no matter what the marketplace value is for it, that's not necessarily my thing. So,
like you could buy me mad bars of gold. If I don't give a fuck about gold, I'm gonna be like, what I'm supposed to do? Like, do I put stuff on top of this?
Yeah,
like what I do with this bar of gold? Like, I don't.
Yeah, your ticket analogy is the best, because if I'm like, yo, Jay, got his tickets, Justin Bieber, you ready? You're gonna be like, why would you? It's mad cats we can see, man. Why would you, like? You know what I mean? Like, I got those. Yo, son, these
front row seats to Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I got these $3,000 Taylor Swifts. You ready? You know what I mean?
Oh,
You'd be like, son, that's not even like something. And that's highly valued in the marketplace. It's probably thinking like, okay, yeah, how can we sell these? Because it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So yeah,
it's exactly gonna be my answer. Like, how much you think we can flip these tickets for? No, we can split it. I don't even want to keep the money. We split it.
Let's see if we can exchange it, for some like Wu-Tangs or something,
Let's somebody that just get crazy like season tickets to the Pelicans game.
Right, whatever, yeah. But no doubt. Yeah. I just wanted to know your opinion about that because I
no, it's fine. That's fine.
Interesting, you know what I'm saying? But to wrap this segment up, man, when it comes to fitness fads and Pelotons, my little advice to everybody listening and watching, like, yo, find things you like without the crowd sort of approval. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out of the fad sort of looking at things and just judge something. As I always say, judge it on its own 2 feet. If you into the Peloton, and obviously there's 3 million cats who are, then enjoy your Peloton, man. Forget what people are saying. Yo, enjoy your bike, man. Do your thing. Be in your house. Like I said, I got a friend of mine, every day he does his 20 minutes. He loves his Peloton. It's nothing, and that's
there you go.
And he's in great shape. So do your thing.
There you go. Right.
But if you're getting it because that's what everyone else is doing, that's what but everyone's doing it. You're not. It's going to be a really expensive coat rack in a few months.
Word.
You know what I mean?
It's like, yo, Dre, where's my sweater? Oh, it's on the Peloton.
It's on the Peloton. So I keep
right there. No, it's right on the Peloton. You can't miss it.
It's one of the most expensive racks in the house.
Word.
Peloton. Everything you just put up there. You don't use that shit. It's all dusty.
My God, that's gonna be our title, sir. The most expensive coat rack.
All right. But all right, we can take it to the next element.
Yeah, bring us in.
All right. So speaking of fitness, man, I was really excited when I heard about this bodybuilding movie. As you know, I consider myself a bodybuilder. I like the bodybuilding culture. You know, it's wild, it's crazy, it's every maniac you could think about it is in there. And
Right.
there was this movie coming out with your boy Jonathan Majors, who
That's right.
was going to be profiling an actual bodybuilder. And because it's a bodybuilding movie, there's a lot of bodybuilders in the movie. And, Jonathan Majors is just one of these like really great actors. And the reason why I feel like it's so fun and rare to talk about, because it's very rare where you have a really good actor talking about something that is sort of, you know, I'm not gonna say minuscule, but it's sort of like a lot of people don't do it. This,
Niche.
yeah, a niche, yeah, sort of a niche where it's like tons of people work out, lots of people work out. Not a lot of people consider themselves bodybuilders. That's a
Right.
completely different thing, where it's just like,
And competitive bodybuilding at that.
and yeah, and to be at the pro level, that's like maybe 0.5 of the percentage of the entire population of Earth is trying to work out in a way so that they can get on stage and put on these tiny like trunks and pose for 10 to 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Most people are not working out to do that, but there's a small niche of population that does. And for cats who are into it, um, it's really interesting that you have this like super great actor doing
Right.
this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think this would be really, really fun. And I know that just recently you just told me that, oh yeah, this movie will come out. And I think, yeah, let's talk about this and how it might affect or give a little bit more shine on the bodybuilding, because we haven't had something like this since like Arnold did Pumping Iron in the 70s. Honestly, like when was the last like pretty big bodybuilding movie that you could actually like talk about? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, let's
Yeah. So the storyline, according to IMDb, is an amateur bodybuilder struggles to find human connection in this exploration of celebrity and violence.
Mm.
That's the description here. And so it did really well in 2023 at like all the film festivals, Sundance and stuff like that. There was like early Oscar buzz for Jonathan Majors, and that was before his legal troubles. Since then, it was dropped by several studios, and different studios picked it up and dropped it, and now another studio finally has it and will be putting it out. And so there's not an exact release date that I can find. Even IMDb says early 2025, but that is what we know at the moment. And the cover, like the poster, is Jonathan Majors seemingly naked and looking great, like he's in amazing shape.
Yeah.
And so it seems like this was happening around the same time of him shooting Creed 3 and
Mm.
training for Creed 3. And so if you can just remember what that physique looked like, and we can put a picture of that on the screen, it's going to be similar. And there's a YouTube video that you shared with me where they say he had to ramp his training up even more for this role.
Yeah.
They say he was eating 6,100 calories a day, and he was doing 2-a-day workouts, and he was going in. And so there's even another bodybuilder. You remember the guy's name?
Oh yes, it's my
What's his
hero,
name?
Michael Hearn. Michael Hearn is the dude. Anybody's in the bodybuilding know about Michael Hearn. Old school bodybuilder, probably about my age, coming back in like from the 80s and stuff. Like Michael Hearn is the dude of dudes, the alpha of alpha. This cat just does a tremendous amount of weight. What he can put up in terms of like bench press and shoulder press, I just look at it and my shoulders start hurting. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude is like,
Right.
wow. and yeah, he's in his 50s and just incredible. So to have Michael O'Hearn and Jonathan Majors in one movie, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I was gonna say in the clip you sent me, in the YouTube short you sent me, Michael is saying that he was impressed with Jonathan Majors' look and work ethic when it came to trying to look the part of this Maddox guy. I think the guy's name is Johnny Maddox. He's playing.
Killian?
Oh, there you go, Killian Maddox. Good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Killian Maddox is who Jonathan Majors plays. And so, yeah, I mean, listen, it looks to have an interesting cast. Um, and I'm very curious about how this is gonna go. I agree, Jonathan Majors is a good actor. I said a long time ago when everything popped off, this is not the last we've seen of Jonathan Majors. He is too skilled of an actor to remain on the shelf, to remain on ice. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think he's gonna get an Oscar, even if he's nominated, because I think the Academy will shun him for his legal troubles. However, I don't think that changes the impact the film will have if it's as good as they're saying it is. Because I mean, I haven't seen shit from it, but if it's that good that they were talking about Oscar buzz off of just Sundance film festivals,
Right.
this other studios will look at that and say, "Hey, can we call that guy? Is he available? We got a couple roles that he might could come in
Yeah.
here and body."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Definitely. You know what I mean? When you have, especially when you, for me, when you take true stories and put all that flawed drama into it, you know, actually try to capture uh, the pain that these bodybuilders like go through to get on that stage. 'Cause when you see him, you just see him on the stage. You know, we can go back to the Arnold days where he's just like smiling and looking great and making you think, you know, through an illusion, hey, everything is great, everything is wonderful. You don't know the pains that these cats are going. You don't understand like the joint pain that they're going in, all the suffering that it takes to get there, the diet or lack of that. They're barely eating to get this particular look. You know what I mean? So to have a major actor, you know, show some of that, and also the sacrifices they make in their lives. You know, so often I tell people, especially clients or potential clients, they're like, oh yeah, I want to work out, but you know, I don't want to get big like that. And I'm like, yo, listen, you're never going to get big like that. There's no one who's big like that by accident. No one woke up and
right.
was like, dag, I'm like, you know, 300 pounds of like pure muscle and 5% body fat. This was an
Nah.
accident. I did not want this to happen. I want my
Slip
money back.
Bob.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody super muscular like that without tons and tons of sacrifice, especially in their personal lives. They don't
Right.
care about, you know, their relationships and stuff like that. They leave all that stuff on the shelf and just like, yo, gym, eating, of course, the drugs, and rest. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. I don't care about nothing else. And like you said,
Right.
especially when you got cats going twice a day, which is something that Arnold used to do too. You know, so I'm really, really curious, especially like you said, they're talking Oscar buzz. That means Jonathan did his thing. He probably went really, really in with showing and demonstrating the pain and
Yep.
suffering that Cats is going through. So I can't wait to see this movie. I know it'll probably go maybe direct to streaming, or if it
No,
isn't.
no, it's a theater release.
Oh, is it their release? Oh, nice. Okay. Because I'm thinking, is it might. I hope it doesn't, like, sometimes when things are theater releases, they might just go to like those little independent theaters, or will it be, you know, wide theater release where you can go see it
I
at?
don't know that answer, but it
Yeah.
did say it does have a scheduled theater release. So
Okay.
I
Nice.
don't know. But I'll be honest, I don't give a fuck. I'd go to the independent theater to watch
Sure.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for two reasons. One, because I want to support Jonathan Majors. And I wasn't necessarily like a big fan, but after what they did to him, You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like now I'm definitely gonna support you because they're they're punishing you from running away from someone that was trying to abuse you. Like I don't really get that, and that's like weird to me that the man actually showed a lot of restraint. And
Except when he was shoving her in the car.
yeah, he was definitely shoving her car, but that's like a whole nother thing. It's like this sense of, okay, you're a big black man, so no matter what people do to you, you should just take it. And it's like, no, big black men feel pain too. I'm not going to keep letting you hit me and shove me and I do nothing. Like that is a we could go into that view, but that is like a sort of myth. And Terry Crews was kind of talking about this too, where it's just like when people see big black men, they think, oh, nothing hurts you, so it's okay for me to push you and shove you and poke you, and like it like they're trained bears or something. And it's like, no, none of that is not okay. You can't just keep hitting me. Like I still feel pain, no matter how big a person is, no matter how muscular they are, they still feel pain. So him being in the car and not allowing someone to constantly hit on him, like, yo, I just think that that's like absolutely like wrong. And we need to understand that big muscular people feel pain too, no matter what, because that's the first thing they say. Well, she's only 150 pounds and he's 250 pounds. You know, it should be like cool. They're like, no, it's not. It's not cool for her to hit him. No, yeah.
No, I
You
don't
know what I
think
mean?
that
Like,
either. But you can't also shove people in cars and bang their heads on shit either. I think there was wrong and right on both sides.
right. Exactly. One person got punished for what they did, and one person was able to walk right straight free. So the message is to people who watching it, if you're a big black person, this person is smaller, it's okay for you to hit them. You get absolutely no repercussions. Nothing will happen to you. She walked away. It wasn't like the judge said, okay, what you did was wrong and you're going to get punished. And also, you can't hit people either. That never happened. They specifically told her, you're not going to have any charges against you. So don't worry.
Yeah, I know.
So this to me is a bigger thing where, especially when it comes to understanding, you know, racism and slavery, where it's like when you have big black bodies, there's this idea that it's okay to prod them and probe them and hit them, and because you're big, so it's all right for you to do this, right? Like you're big, you should be able to let me slap you around and shit like that. Like no, absolutely not. So I dig it in terms of like, yeah, both of you did something wrong, both of you need to get punished. It's like no different if you had two kids. You're not going to
Right.
be okay. You're 8 years old and you're 6 years old. So because you're 8 years old, you're getting in trouble, but you're 6, you're cool. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, you can go play video games, do whatever you want to do. You're like, nah, both of y'all get in trouble. Both of you shouldn't have been doing that. So getting back to the topic, like, yeah, like to have this brother show the pain and agony that goes into looking like that and telling this person's story, I think it's going to be really, really interesting. And just like you, yeah, I'm going to go out there and check it out. I'm definitely going to see it in the theaters, wherever theaters at, independent ones, big ones. I'm going to check this out. I think it's going to be a really, I like to see really good acting, you know what I'm saying? And this will be a great opportunity for anyone that's into bodybuilding a little bit. Like if you're a person who like, oh yeah, I watched Pumping Iron, that was like a cool joint, from the 70s, and I really enjoyed it. I think this is going to be like that, but even more like dramatic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's it's labeled as a drama,
Yeah.
and we know he can do that.
Yeah.
And so I want to see it. I want to see the journey. I want to see him putting a clinic on in the acting department. Listen, I said on weeknights, I think all he been doing since the charges happened is show us how good of an actor he is. You know what I'm saying? He was like shy and timid in one interview, We saw him running away at top speed in another, the thing you mentioned.
Yeah,
I mean, he didn't have to run that fast from Shorty. He booked it. He was out. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It was gone. And then he's gone viral for going from crying to immediately singing to Megan Good. Yeah, I think all he's done is put on an acting class since he got his charges. And so again, if there's Oscar buzz, and I don't even really like the awards, but I'm just think about what that means if that's what the industry was saying when they previewed this film. So, yeah, I think he's already been showing us how well he can act. And if this is his big one, as the kids say, then I want to see it.
yeah. And even if it's not necessarily his big one, but it would be his like first kind of return since all this shit, you know.
Yeah.
And this would be his way of letting people know, you know what, that happened, but that don't stop my forward progression. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
the person I was is still the person I am today, or maybe even a
Right.
better person because that bullshit happened. And I think with
Right.
everything you're mentioning in terms of interviews and all this stuff happening, is that him coming out and being like, "Yo, I can't believe this bullshit happened in my career, and I'm gonna try to make this like a learning thing to make me a better person at the end of the day." You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because yeah, I mean, it's fucked up the way things happen for him. You know, it's fucked up how he just got dropped. And you know, I think if roles were reversed and all this other shit, like it wouldn't have been a problem at all. You know, but
Mm-hmm.
it is where we are now. And I guess my thing is like, yeah, as I said before, and I'll say again, big black bodies does not make a person Superman. You know, motherfuckers
Right.
still feel pain, and we have to get out of this idea that you're big, you're muscular, so you can just take on anything, and it's okay to poke a bear. You know what I mean? It's like you go to a zoo, or you go to a circus, and you see this big ass bear, and it's trained, right? It could do like all these different tricks and all this shit. A lion, whatever. It's an animal. It's like this huge animal, and because it could do all these tricks, you start thinking like, oh well, shit, that means it's gentle, and I could just slap it around and do things to it, and it's not going to do anything because it's a big trained bear, you know. And you poke it and you hit it, and then all of a sudden it hits you back, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's an attacked bear!" It's like, wait a minute, didn't you hit it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still a fucking animal. Don't
Right.
think that its size means it didn't feel the pain that you fucking did to it. Like, it's no different with anybody else. One's size and muscularity does not mean you live a pain-free fucking life. And hopefully he'll show people that in this betrayal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, listening. We will see y'all real soon. Peace out.
Peace!